Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Martin Ware, and I'm super excited. I just want to do a quick mic check. If you guys are here and you can hear me, go ahead and let me know. Okay, before we get started, we'll start in the next 60 to 90 seconds or so. We'll just let a few people get in. A few stragglers. We're not even at the hour yet. So I just wanted to start it off. And if you guys can hear me, go ahead and let me know. All right, so if you're here and you can hear me, looks like you guys can hear me. Okay, it looks like we're live. So if you can hear me, go ahead and let me know. Let me go ahead and type it in and see if you guys can go ahead and hear me. Just so you guys know, on your screen, there's a chat section. I'm using a new technology, so if there's a chat section. All right, okay, so you can go ahead and anytime you have a question, go ahead and let me know. All right, so let me know if you're on right now. Go ahead and let me know, and let me know if you guys can hear me. I would definitely want to know. So we'll start in the next 90 seconds, guys. So I'm just going to make sure that you guys can hear me. If you guys can go ahead and let me know if you guys can hear me or not, then it'll be great. So just let me know if you guys can hear me or not. Awesome, awesome. All right. Awesome. Welcome, Dr. Shelley. Nice to see you again and have you on. So we're just waiting. So I'm glad you guys can hear me and you guys can see me. I'm excited to be sharing this information with you. It's really my passion to just give back and be able to share with others. And I'll get into my story for those of you that haven't heard it. But it's part of who I am. It's part of what makes me tick is giving back to others. And my whole thing is to share with you as much value as I possibly can today and really make it worth your while. So I know you guys can be anywhere in the world, but you guys are here. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and make sure I give you as much value as I possibly can, okay? So let me go ahead and make sure my screens. Looks like you guys can see me. Where is my... One second. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen, and it should be saying, yeah, looks like you guys are present to everyone. Okay. Awesome. Can you guys see my screen? It's my PowerPoint slides. If you guys can see my PowerPoint slide, let me know. Awesome. We'll get started in the next 30 seconds. Actually, I'm going to get a quick glass of water, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, let's go ahead and rock and roll. Got my water. I got everything. I'm excited. I'm ready to share as much value. If you guys are excited, let me know. Say yes. Awesome. Cool, cool. All right, so on my screen, you should be seeing my slides, which I think you can see my slides, yes. Okay, just put this over here. All right, so on my slides, let's see where we at. Okay, so you're here at this workshop, okay? It's Podcast Mastery Blueprint, all right? So just so you know that you're in the right spot, you're gonna be learning, you're gonna discover the simple process to creating, producing, and launching a strategic podcasting business. My name is Martin Ware, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to share with you everything I have today, and I'm going to just leave it all on the field for you. And hopefully by the end of tonight, you're going to learn how to go from not knowing what a podcast is to learning how to actually create, produce, and launch your very own podcasting business, okay? And I'm not playing, I'm not joking. I'm literally going to expose the truth on the internet marketing's industry's best kept recruiting secret. I will show you on this very workshop how to create a lead and cash flowing machine that spits out money like an ATM on 100% autopilot. Okay, so if you guys are cool with that, then that's what you're here for. And for those of you that are here till the end of tonight's training, I actually have a special gift for you. I'm going to be sharing with you a special untapped resource to help build professional looking capture pages and funnels that help build your influence. And this is literally my secret weapon to building my audience so they know, like, and trust me. Okay. It doesn't matter if you have the best thing in the world, if you can't have people or eyeballs looking at it and then you capturing that prospect, then you really don't have a way to go back to them and share more value with them. Okay, so I'm going to share with you, and this is a free tool, guys, so make sure you stick to the end of the presentation and I will share with you this free tool that I tapped into and how you can get it for free. So here's a game plan for tonight. Tonight, you'll be discovering the rarely shared strategy to generate massive targeted leads to your products and services using an untapped source called podcasting. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how to start a podcast, the 8-step process that I take every time I launch my podcast. Okay, every episode that I go through this 8-step process, and I'm going to share with you how to actually produce your very own podcast tonight. I'm also going to show you, once you go about learning what podcast, I'm going to show you how to actually launch the podcast. Okay, so once you go through the 8 steps, I'm going to share with you how to actually launch it so you can now be on the different syndication platforms that are out there to now attract people to you. Okay. And then I'm going to go and share with you how to grow your podcast audience. Although it's good to create your podcast and to launch it, but if you don't have an audience that you're growing on an everyday basis, then it's really for nothing, right? Think about it. If you're creating all this content, but no one's even listening to you or no one's even watching you or hearing what you have to offer, then your audience, your audience is everything when it comes to, marketing and when it comes to business. If you don't have an audience of people that really want to see what you have to offer, then you're really just wasting your time, and you have a hobby. And we really don't want to have hobbies, although hobbies are fun and cool, but they just don't pay, right? You're mostly putting out money into hobbies as opposed to reaping the benefits of things. So I'm going to share with you how to go about creating your audience. And then lastly, I'm going to share with you how to podcast, okay? How to actually go about turning your sweat equity, turning your hard, all the time that you're putting into this podcast, and then how you can turn it into money at the end of the day. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some strategies about doing that, how to go about monetizing your podcast. So if you're ready to get started, let me know. Go ahead and type it in the chat box that you're ready to get started, and we'll go ahead and go. All right, I'm going to need a few yeses, so I know that you guys are still with me. And if you guys are ready to go, I'll be ready to go. Okay, awesome. Dr. Sally Williams is ready to rock and roll. I love it. Sweet. So let's get started, and we're going to go ahead and just jump into this right now. So before I do, I want to just share with you a little bit about who I am and why you should actually listen to me, okay? If you're on a workshop, then you probably, especially if you have never heard of me before, which most likely some of you have never. There's one or two in here that have, but if you never heard of me before, I've, since 2010, okay, I've been studying online marketing and direct response marketing under some of the highest multi-million-dollar elite earners, such as Mike Dillard, Jonathan Budd, Dagan Smith. Some other mentors and partners of mine are Greg Gomez III, Vince Reed, okay, partner down here in Anaheim, California, John Lee Dumas, a gentleman that has the #1 podcast in all of iTunes with Entrepreneurs on Fire. And I've been able to learn from these gentlemen and been able to tap into their resources, tap into what they have to offer, and been able to now take my podcast to a whole new level. For the past 5 years, I've actually received my online marketing education after long sleepless nights, investing well over $60,000, learning from these experts, attending multiple live events on an annual basis, always evolving. Okay, that's a key word right there. You always want to evolve as a leader. I currently train and coach clients from different parts of the globe. So I actually have a global business. I've been a top income earner in several two-tier affiliate opportunities created by a seven-figure and well-respected online marketer. I've placed in the top 10 in affiliate marketing competitions with elite earners like Mark Hoverson, Jonathan Budd, Ray Higdon, Greg Gomez, William Rapp, to name a few. Now, I don't say all this to boost or brag, okay, or just to boost. I actually say this because I understand that it's possible to create freedom online, okay? Even if you struggled miserably like I did for over 2.5 years, not making a single dime online, okay? Think about that. I went 2.5 years not even making a single dime, but I saw the vision. I saw people making money. I saw people doing things, and that's who I gravitated to. So no matter how dark of a night, I still kept going. Okay, and that's really, really important. Okay, and then maybe after this presentation, you too will have the blueprint and strategy I use to do it. Okay, so that's my hopes. My hopes is to share with you my blueprint, my podcast mastery blueprint, so you can go ahead and take it and then go and apply it to your business, whether you have, online business, or whether you have, you're an author and you want to get your book out there to others, or you want to just, build your team, okay, build your network, or get your influence out there on a global scale. Now, as I mentioned, I'm the founder and the host of the Unstoppable Journey podcast. I launched in November 2014, so not too long ago, only 6 months ago. I've actually been awarded some podcasting awards from the People's Choice. Some podcast awards have been for most educational podcast, best new podcast, most inspiring podcast, best overall host, and best overall podcast. And here's just a quick message by Jackie Bayer is, well deserved, Martin. I listened to a lot of your shows since I saw the results come in. I think you want something in every category. Okay, and those are the categories that I won those awards in. So if I can do it in only a few months, so can you. And I'm going to share with you the strategy and the blueprint, once again, to go about taking your business and putting it online, and really just attracting a lot of people to you. Now, I've hit iTunes New and Noteworthy in 3 different categories. I've been in the top of the New and Noteworthy for business, for education, and for technology. Okay, 3 different categories, which is really important because a lot of people only go after one category. And since I was been able to tap into my mentors, they've actually showed me how to get onto 3 different categories, which just opens up the gates for a ton of people looking at your podcast. I've been downloaded over 100,000 times and listened to in over 47 different countries, which is crazy. Okay. Now, I want to talk about some major problems that I see, or that I even face when it comes to podcasting. Okay. Number one is, what is a podcast? Maybe you're asking yourself that question. What is a podcast? I'm here. I think it's cool and all that, but what is that? Maybe you're facing that. Okay. The second one that I come across, especially when I'm coaching others, is, how do I find my topic? Okay, once I know what a podcast is, like, how do I actually find what I'm actually going to be talking about on my podcast? Okay, that's a major, major problem that people face. Number 3 is, how do I actually create a perfect avatar? And if you know what a perfect avatar, I'm going to explain how to create a perfect avatar and what it is. I'm actually going to demonstrate who my perfect avatar, who the person that is listening to my show is. But that's a problem, okay? You can have your topic, but then who's actually going to listen to your podcast, okay? Who's going to actually listen to you? And that's something that we're going to cover tonight. Number 4, not knowing the tools and software to use. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys that this is one of the major reasons why I stalled for almost 6 months creating my podcast, because I thought that I needed to have all these tools. I needed to go and invest hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars on all this equipment. And in reality, it's not even true. It's all a myth. Okay. Can you go that route? You can. But do you need to go that route? You don't have to go that route. There's so many things that I'm going to share with you today, so many resources that you can now tap into to, eliminate this myth. Number 5 is not knowing how to leverage iTunes, okay? There's a certain formula, and I'm going to share with you tonight, but there's a certain formula that if you get onto iTunes, there's a certain way to get onto the New and Noteworthy, and you have to do a few things in order for that to actually your podcast to be considered new and noteworthy, so iTunes can actually put it up there and have millions and millions of people now see who what your podcast is all about. And then number 6, after all this, okay, the major thing that people actually ask is, how do I actually monetize a podcast? Okay, how do I actually make money from my efforts after I put in all this time and effort? How do I actually monetize it? How do I make money from this? Okay, because at the end of the day, we have to pay our bills, right? We have to go and we have to feed our family. We have to, and by monetizing, I mean, you have to put out value out there into the marketplace. The more value you can put out there, the more you can, you're going to be seen as that expert, as that valuable person to somebody that that's why you guys are here right now, because I'm putting out valuable content that you want to learn. So that's why you're here on the workshop. Well, today all the nerve shackle phobias and okay, today it's all gonna stop. I'm gonna break all myths. I'm gonna shatter all phobias. Okay, especially the one about technology, because that could be a major phobia, especially for somebody that I didn't even have a computer until I got into sophomore year in college. So that tells you don't need to have all this computer literacy. You don't have to know. You don't have to be a genius at running your computer or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to share with you how to go about doing that tonight. So I want to talk about the innovations and technology that have radically altered the way someone shares their opportunity with folks, whether that's, a network marketing business, whether that's an online business, affiliate marketing business, whether that's a book. Okay, if you're an author, okay, I know we have some authors on the call. If you have a book that you want to get out there to the world, then this is a perfect way to, you have to really tap into technology and innovations that are happening all around us, so you can get more people to see what it is that you have to offer. Okay, the value that you're putting out there. Okay, especially if you're an author, you have a lot of value to put out there. Okay, you have to be able to tap into the new technologies that are around us in order for you to go out there. Okay, I'm not sure, I mean, it might still work, but going to Barnes and Nobles and having a signature, having your book signing, that might work. But think about it. Imagine if you can have your book around the whole globe, as opposed to just one place in a particular Starbucks. Okay, and now you can tap into that. See, it's the key to growing a massive downline while producing cash flow, even if no one joins your primary business. If you want to create a seismic shift in your income, influence, and your ability to friction-free recruit, then podcasting is one of the best ways I've found to get in front of thousands of people who are actively searching for what it is that I have to offer. Okay, so if you guys are excited about that, if you guys are excited about tapping into this, let me know. And we'll go ahead and continue. Let me know if you guys are getting value so far. Awesome. Looks like you guys are definitely getting value. All right, so we'll continue. So let's talk about what is a podcast. First and foremost, what is a podcast? You might have heard of it. You might have never heard of it. Okay. Well, a podcast in its simplest forms, okay, I'm not going to go too deep with this, but in its simplest forms, it's a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or a portable media player, a mobile device, your tablet. It's typically available as a series or new installments, of which can be received by its subscribers. So there's a host, there's somebody, a producer that produces the audio file, and then on the other side of it is the subscriber that is actually listening to whatever that is that you put out. Okay, so think of it sort of like a radio show, but on the internet, right? It's an audio file, you listen to it, and you can now become that producer. Okay, and I talked about this on Saturday at a live event, but if all you are is the consumer, what you're gonna do is be consuming things, and you're never gonna shift to a producer. I want to make that shift in you to go from a consumer to a producer. Okay, when you become a producer, now you can share your value with the world, and now you can extract that value and turn it into money, right? Monetize it once you do that. But you have to make that shift in your mind from a consumer to a producer. When you make that shift, that's when the magic happens. Because if not, if you just stay a consumer, then all you're gonna do is buy and consume. But when you shift, then you become that producer. So let's talk about 5 reasons to consider podcasting in the first place. Number one, it's on demand. Listeners don't have to say no to something to say yes to podcasting. Okay. If you're doing video, or if you're doing blogging, or if you're doing direct mail, or however you're attracting people, customers to you, right? They actually, if they're watching if you put out a video and they're driving, they can't watch your video and drive at the same time, or they can't read your blog post and drive at the same time, right? There's a lot of things that can happen. They can get an accident, they can get a ticket. There's a lot of things. Well, with podcasting, since it's audio, they can drive and they can listen to your podcast now. Okay. And as a matter of fact, they can actually listen to you on CarPlay, which is CarPlay is a new thing that's coming out on every 2015 car. If they have a dashboard in it, then they're going to have CarPlay. They can also listen to you while they're exercising, they're taking walks, they're out at the beach, etc. Right? So they don't have to stop what they're doing in order for them to consume what it is that you're putting out there. And here's an article on CarPlay. Okay, CarPlay is Apple's basically, it goes into your dashboard, and let me just share this picture. If you can see this purple app right here, okay, it actually says podcast, which is crazy, right? So now what this means is now we have gotten back our freedom. Okay, and what I mean by that is, think about it, when you're in your car and you listen to, I don't know, Power 106 or Kiss FM or 92.3 The Beat or classical music, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what you listen to, okay? You listen to that radio station, the DJ controls what you listen to. You never have the opportunity to change the channel. I mean, you can change the channel, but you can never change the song, right? The DJ, or the person who's running the show right there, actually has to pick the songs that is going to play next. Wow. You lost your freedom. And then you have all these commercials, you have them playing the songs over and over and over again, and they kind of burn out the songs, right? I don't know if you ever felt like that, but for me, I felt like, man, I hear this song like 5 an hour, and it's like, it just gets annoying after a while. While with podcasts, you now have the ability to listen to whatever your heart desires, whether that's you want to learn how to cook paleo, you want to lose 5 pounds from your waist. There's actually podcasts like that. You want to learn about history. You want to learn about I don't know. You want to learn about marketing. You want to learn about business. You want to learn about whatever it is. There's so many podcasts out there. You can tap into that, and now you have that freedom to tap into that with CarPlay. So it's great. It's a great thing, and it's just the perfect storm for producers like myself, and hopefully soon to be you. You can now tap into that perfect storm. Number two, it's targeted and it's free. So let's talk about targeted real quick. Let me ask you this question: what interests you? Okay. What interests you right now? Do you like cooking? Do you like history? Do you like technology? Do you like business? Okay, whatever it is that you like, there's probably a podcast for it. Okay, so in iTunes, there's over 16 different categories that you can tap into, with over hundreds of subcategories. Okay, so they have 16 categories, but there's hundreds of other subcategories that you can now listen to, and it's really targeted. There's over 525 million active users on iTunes alone, with 315 of them really accessing iTunes on their iPhone, okay? And I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android, but if you have an iPhone, you can do this test. But you see that purple podcasting app, the one I just showed you on CarPlay? Well, those that have that on their iPhone podcast app cannot be removed. So what does that mean for a producer? That means that that's perfect prime real estate right there. Okay, that's somebody's phone that pretty much you can't leave home without your phone. If you do, you pretty much are going to go back for it, because if you're anything like me, I run my business off of my phone. Okay, so if I don't have my phone, I actually have to go back for it because I have a lot of important stuff in there. Well, that app, you can never delete it. So if there's, 315 million people that access iTunes on their iPhone, that means they already have an iPhone. They cannot delete that app. So that's a chance for them to tap into me, and for me to share my podcast with them, which is really, really crazy. Podcast that is focused on the exact topics and interests that you have. Okay. And here's the best of all is podcasting is free. Okay. If you go to iTunes and you download any podcast, you subscribe to any podcast of your desire, it's most likely going to be free. There's some that are premium, but for the most part, about 97% of the time, they're free. Okay, so what does that mean? That means unlimited content you can now stream or download for absolutely nothing. You don't have to pay for it. Okay, and you're probably like, well, how do you make money? Right? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that in a bit. I don't want you to jump the gun real quick, but if it's free for the consumer, then how does the producer make money? Well, I'm gonna share with you that in a bit. But a major reason why podcast hosts are building massive audiences. Okay, I literally launched my podcast 6 months ago, and now I'm in, actually that slide was old. It's now 55 different countries and over 100,000 downloads, which is nuts, because that audience, I was never tapping into that before. Okay, doing blog posts and doing videos and doing other stuff that I did online, Facebook marketing, Twitter marketing. I didn't tap into this massive audience that now I am tapping in. Number 3, it allows the host to build an intimate connection with their audience. Okay, me as the host, I'm building an intimate connection every time somebody listens to my podcast. That connection is being formed. And here's why. Our first earthly experience as a child is hearing voices. Okay, we are drawn to voices in a powerful way, and we always will be like that because we are humans. Okay, it's said in our womb, right? And people that are babies that are in their mother's womb, it's said, studies have shown that they can feel that. They can feel that energy. They can hear music. They can hear you speaking. So our voices, we're always going to be drawn to voices. And podcast being that it's an audio, we can build that connection with our community. Okay, and you can start forming communities. When you ask the question, once you start forming the communities like I have, okay, my community is called Warrior Nation. When you start forming that community, you now can go back to them and ask, what are you struggling with? And I actually highly recommend you do that. If you have a community right now, go to them right now and ask them, what are they struggling with? Okay, I'm not sure. Have you ever? Do you guys survey your list, or do you guys survey your community? Like, how can I help you better, or what are you struggling with? I don't know. Do you guys do that right now? Let me go ahead and see the questions. Let me see. I'm gonna put it. Do you guys survey your audience? So I just put a question out there. Do you guys survey your audience? And we'll see what it comes back, but I'll come back to that right now. It's really important. If you're not, you should be, okay? And if you're not, then make it a point to go out there and at least go ask a few people, what are they struggling with? So because your audience is gonna tell you what they're actually struggling with. And when you're a producer and you can find out they're struggling, their pain points, you can now create a solution to that struggle. Okay, and then when you do that, your first product is born, really. And I put a little hint there because that's why we're actually on this workshop right now, because I actually surveyed my audience and they want to know how to podcast. They want to know how to tap into the technology. And number 4, your ability to leverage directories. Okay, here's a great reason why you want to start podcasting. Okay, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud are the 3 major directories, and they all have one thing in common. Okay, I found out they all have one thing in common, and I got super excited. They already have a massive community base searching for the content through their platform. Okay, so it's like opening up doors to millions of now active searchers, okay, that are wanting to consume what it is that's out there. So if you can switch from a consumer to a producer, you can now tap into these massive communities that you don't have to create. You just open the doors and you walk into them, okay? And that's powerful right there. That's powerful. When I started tapping into this, my mind and everything shifted for me, because they already have the platforms. All you got to do is become the producer and put your content on these platforms, and you are now exposed to millions of people. Okay, so the big 3 are iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. Number 5 is ability to or the ability to build authority and credibility in your niche. When you interview successful people, okay, you now are associated with them, and perception is reality. And I was able to interview, I've been able to interview quite a few people, but the last two interviews, I interviewed uh, a person by the name of Deborah Peters, and she has a massive, massive influence, and she's been, creating value for people for over 20 years. So I was able to interview her, and now, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, the strategy behind that, but I was able to interview her, and now my podcast got to really go out to all of her people that's on her list and the people that she knows, because I was able to interview her. So when you associate with other successful people, then you now are sort of seen as that person, right? So when you build a platform, you are building credibility as someone who knows how to create value. All right. So again, you have to switch the mentality from a content, from someone consuming the content to someone producing the content. When you serve an audience with value consistently and for free, those are key words, consistently and for free, you're building credibility with them as they grow, as they start to grow, to know, like, and trust you. Okay, so when you start to build that audience, they're going to start to grow on you. They're going to start to know you. They're going to start to like you. They're going to start to trust you, especially if you're relatable to them. Okay, and if you do it on a consistent basis, which is really key to anything in life, then you can now tap into that. So now let's shift gears real quick and let's talk about finding your topic. Okay, so now that I share with you what a podcast is, okay, it's an audio that you download. Why you should be podcasting. Okay, I gave you 5 different tips of why you should start thinking about podcasting, especially if you're already a producer. Okay, if you already produce stuff, why you should consider podcasting. Now I want to talk about finding your topic. Piece of paper. Hopefully you have a piece of paper, so you're writing notes down. I want you to draw a line in the middle of the paper. Okay, and I want, on the left side, I want you to put passions. Okay, what are you passionate about? And on the right side, I want you to put expertise. So go ahead and put passion and expertise on your paper while I get a drink of water. Okay, awesome. So passions is, what are you passionate about? Okay, for me, I'll share with you my passions, right? My passions are exploring, being adventurous, traveling, building my networks, giving back, and really helping people. Okay, those are 6 of my passions. I have a lot more, but those are, for example purposes, those are my passions, right? So you go ahead and write what are you passionate about, and then on the right side, what are you? I've done a lot of things in my short life. I've been a salesperson. I've been in telemarketing. I've worked at UPS. I've handled customer service. I've played football. I've done online marketing for the past 5 years. I have helped out in my church. So there's a lot of things that I've done that can make me an expert in that field. So I don't want you to tell me that you don't have any passions or you don't have any expertise. Don't give me that BS, because you have to be passionate about something, whatever that is. If you're passionate, you like doing it, then that's a passion. And don't tell me you don't have any expertise, especially if you're 18 and up, right? If you're 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, however long you've been on this planet, I'm pretty sure you've acquired some expertise along your journey, right? So don't be that person that says, "Oh, I don't have any expertise. I don't know anything." Well, dig deeper. Don't quit at that first sign of us doing work, okay? Because this is actually, you're gonna thank me once you figure this out, because what happens is, when you figure out your passions and you figure out what you're an expert at and what you're good at, you can go ahead and create what is called the zone of genius. Okay, when you create the zone of genius, it actually taps into both of these realms of your passion and your expertise, and now you can find what you are going to be passionate about talking and what you have an expertise about, and that's what your topics are going to be about. Okay, so anytime you come up against something like, I get up in the morning and I don't know what to talk about, or I don't know what to podcast about. Well, I always go back to my zone of genius, because then I can go and I'm like, okay, my zone of genius, this is what I'm an expert in, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is what I'm going to talk about. And you always will have that fallback. And if you skip this part, you'll never know what your zone of genius is. So don't skip it. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and put this on pause and go ahead and do this exercise, okay? Or watch this whole presentation, and then go back to the replay and go through this, because this is really, really important. I can't stress this enough. It's really important, finding your topic. So now that you found your topic you're going to talk about, you found your passions, you found your expertise, and you found that zone of genius, and you're like, okay, yes, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I'm an expert in. This is what I want to talk about. Okay, whatever that is for you, your perfect avatar. So your perfect avatar is that perfect person, that one person. Don't think of thousands of people or hundreds of people or millions of people. Think of one person, only one, okay? Because if you start thinking about all this other stuff, then it really doesn't work, okay? So think of that one person, and I'm going to share with you who my perfect avatar is, okay? My perfect avatar, his name is Henry. He's 32 years old. He's married with a wife, and he has 2 children, ages 5 and 7. Now, I want you to really understand the specifics here, okay? Especially with numbers, okay? Because if you get specific, then you know who you're actually talking to. Henry drives to work 30 minutes, okay? He commutes to work for 30 minutes, and he commutes back, and he's in traffic for 45 minutes, okay? So he's going to work, he's listening to my podcast, okay? He's coming back from work, he has a chance to listen to my podcast, because he's really getting tired of all the commercials, all the, the reruns, and just, he doesn't have freedom of what he's listening to, okay? He secretly wants to get out of his 9-to-5 job and create his own economy to spend more time with his family. See, Henry has figured out that he is spending 80% of his day doing the things that he hates doing, or that he just does not like doing. He's commuting to work. He gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He goes to work. He's in traffic. He goes to a cubicle and to a job that his boss doesn't really, give him the recognition that he really deserves, okay, for his hard work. He leaves that job. He stays in traffic for another 45 minutes, and he goes home. He maybe spends an hour with his family, his kids. He has dinner, and maybe another hour with his wife watching TV, and then he goes to sleep. And he's doing that all over again the next day. Well, he figured out, why am I spending my time doing things that I don't like doing, and only 10% of my day doing the things that I really love doing? So I know that about my avatar. See, that avatar is who I speak to. Every time that I create a podcast, that's who I'm speaking to, because I'm not trying to I'm not trying to speak to everybody when I'm talking about my podcast. I'm only talking to Henry. And you need to create a Henry, or a Jane, or a Maribel, a Maria, whoever you're gonna name your person, okay? Now, your avatar is not a person between the ages of 20 and 46 that's a female, that maybe went to college. See, those are all demographics. When I'm talking about an avatar, I'm talking about a perfect person. You gotta name your age. Are they married, or are they single? Do they have kids, or are they don't have kids? Okay, what do they do for work? Okay, what are they secretly wanting to accomplish? Okay, those are the things you got to ask yourself and go deep with it, because the deeper you can get with it, now you're talking to a specific person, and that's how you create your community, because you're not trying to talk to everybody. You're trying to talk to that specific avatar, and there's a lot of people out there. You'll be surprised is that Henry, right? Think about it. You might know a Henry that I'm talking to, right? That goes to work and just doesn't like, and he falls into this category. So that's my perfect avatar. Now, let's talk about the system requirements, the things that you're going to need once you've went through the steps that I just outlined. Okay, once you've figured out, your zone of genius, once you've figured out your perfect avatar, now we're going to talk about the system requirements and the tools that you're going to need in order for you to actually launch your podcast. Okay, so there's a few. There's only a couple, but we're going to talk about them. They're very important. You're going to need a computer. Okay, you can now do it on a tablet, but some device that you're going to be able to, capture your audio. You're going to be able to, download it and upload it onto your hosting account. So you're going to need a computer. Secondly, you're going to need a microphone. Okay. The one thing that, that you really need, since it's audio, imagine if you just didn't have a speaker or a microphone and you just talked into your computer speakers. Well, the audio comes out distorted. Okay, so you got to invest in a microphone. If you already have one, that's cool. If you don't have one, then I'm going to share with you some microphones that you can look into. And then lastly, you're going to need recording and editing software. Okay, that's basically it. It's really that simple. And I took 6 months. I laugh now because I can't believe it took me so long to really figure this out. And now I'm able to cut your learning curve in half, or in a few days, because I just gave you what you actually need: a computer, a microphone, recording and editing software. That's really all you need to create a podcast. So let's talk about the microphones. Okay, microphones, you can go, I'm going to start from the low and I'm going to go to the high. Okay, the low is the Logitech Clear Chat. Okay, it's $29. It looks like this. As a matter of fact, once I come back onto the screen, you're actually going to see my Logitech. I'm using my Logitech right now. I've already had it for podcasting, so I've started with this and I'm still using it. It works great. I recommend getting a USB one, a connector. If you see that, that's a USB. It goes into the computer. There's other ones where you plug it in. It has the two dowels, but that one, I've noticed that one doesn't capture the audio and it doesn't digitize it at the quality that I really want it at. So I use this one, the Logitech Clear Chat. It's really, really great. It's only $30. You can get it at Best Buy. You can get it on Amazon. And if you don't have a microphone, that's the one you can start with. Now, the medium is 100. It's $59.99. It looks like this. And, eventually I'll get to that or to the next one, but I still use a Logitech. But if you want to go for the medium price, you can use this one. It's a microphone. It captures the Logitech. You're about an 8 to an 8.5 in sound quality. The ATR 2100, you're about a 9, a 9.5. Okay, as sound quality goes. And then there's the higher caliber, the Cadillac of them all is the Heel, the PR. It's $327. It looks like this bad boy right here. And this one is, this one is a little bit pricier, but in the quality, you're at a 10 now. Okay, you're considered a 10 in the quality. For me, I haven't had a problem with the Logitech. So do you have to get the Heel, the PR? You don't have to get that. Do you have to get the ATR 2100? You don't have to start there. You can start at the Logitech and move your way up. Okay, so there's no excuses now. You know what microphones to get. And if you want to go and do other searches, hey, do that too. I just wanted to give you 3 that I've been recommended and that I use. Okay, now let's talk about the 8-step process to producing a podcast. Well, there's 8 that I figured out and that that's my process. Okay, anything in business and life, if you can figure out a process to do something, you can make it faster. You can do it better, and if you follow that process, you can really be successful at it. So for me, the 8-step process is you only have to really do the 8-step process one time, and then it becomes a 7-step process. But in order for you to, I'm assuming that you don't even have a podcast out there. So I'm going to give you the 8 steps. So number 1 is you're going to record your podcast. Okay, you're going to record the audio. Number 2 is you're going to add an intro to your audio. Number 3, you're going to export that audio file. You're going to export it into an MP3. Number 4, you're going to tag your MP3, okay, just like a blog or a picture on a blog. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when Google scans a blog or a website, they are not able to see pictures, right? They're not able to see what the actual picture is. That's why you have to have an alt tag, so you can actually let Google know, hey, this is pictures about baseball or football or skiing in Montana or whatever, right? You have to tag your MP3 as well. So when it goes to these different directories, they know what your MP3 is all about. Okay, so you tag it. Number 5 is you have to upload it now onto your hosting account. And I'll talk about different hosting accounts in a bit, but you upload it to your server. Number 6, you're going to schedule when that post actually goes out. So You either you can schedule it to go out immediately, or you can schedule it to go out a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months from now. And what that does, it creates leverage for you. Okay, let's just say that you wanted to go on vacation a month from now in July, right? We're June. In July, you wanted to go on vacation and you started podcasting. Well, what you can do before you go on vacation is you can create, how many episodes you want to go out while you're on vacation. You can schedule them out in advance. And while you're on vacation, under a palm tree, sipping a margarita, or hanging out with your family, your podcast will still go out there, okay, because you scheduled it. Now, step number 7 is now you publish it. Okay, so once you schedule it, you publish it. If you have it for immediate publish, it'll go out automatically. It'll go immediately and it'll go out to all the directories. If you hit that publish and you scheduled it, say for a month from now, then you'll have it in your scheduled to release form. Okay, there's a section in your hosting I'll share with you right now in a bit. But once you schedule it and you publish it, it'll go out in July. Okay, and then lastly is step number 8 is submitting your RSS feed to iTunes and really getting onto the iTunes platform. Okay, so that's this 8 simple step process to producing your podcast. And once you do step number 8, you don't have to do it ever again. Okay, once you're on iTunes, you're there. Okay, as long as you have your RSS feed up, you're on iTunes. You don't have to do step 8 anymore. So let's talk about the recording software. There's a few that are out there. One that I use and I came up using is Audacity. Okay, Audacity, it's mostly for PCs. Okay, PCs, I have a PC, I don't have a Mac, so I use Audacity. It's a free software. Okay, so you don't have to go out and buy anything. It's free. All you got to do is do a Google search for Audacity. There's the logo, and you download it. Okay, and it's virus free, and I've never had any trouble with it, so don't worry about that. You've downloaded for free, and now you have your recording software. You don't have to have this studio of, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 worth of equipment when you have Audacity, right? It's free. Now, if you're a Mac user, then in your Mac, it comes already installed is GarageBand. Okay, it looks like that. It's GarageBand, and it's very similar to Audacity. It's a recording software. You can record your audio, and you can use GarageBand. Again, it's free. It comes with your Mac, so you don't have to spend any money. And if you want to go a little bit and you want to have all the bells and whistles that Audacity and GarageBand don't offer, then you can go with the service called Adobe Audition. Okay, it looks like that, and I believe it's about $20 a month. Okay, but you get a lot more bells and whistles and jingles, and you can make your tunes a little bit better. But for me, I just wanted to take massive action. I want to get my podcast out there to the world, and I started using Audacity, and I'll actually demonstrate Audacity in a bit. So before I go into hosting, who's getting value? Let me just see if there's any questions. If you guys are getting value, go ahead. Are you guys getting value? Let me know if you're getting value. If you're on here and you guys are getting value from this workshop so far, before I go on to the next slide. And I also want to make sure that you guys are paying attention. You guys are not on Facebook. All right, if you guys are on Facebook, close Facebook because it's going to get very interesting right now. All right, so if you guys are getting value, let me know. Awesome. So let's talk about hosting. Okay, hosting. So there's 2 that I'm going to talk about. Number 1 that I recommend and that I use, and I'm going to show you the back office right now, is Libsyn. Okay, Libsyn, Libsyn, and it stands for Liberated Syndication. And Libsyn is pioneered the system to host and publish podcasts since 2004. Now, podcasting is not a new thing. It came out in 2004. However, it was really hard to produce your podcast. And number 2, it's really hard for the consumer to actually listen to your podcast. You had to have an iPad or an iPod. You had to have a device to be able to listen to your audio. Well, since things are changing, the technology is changing, and CarPlay is coming around, and we have our smartphones, it's super easy now for the consumer to actually listen to anything they want. And since then, they've actually grown as the largest leading podcast network. In 2011, Libsyn hosted over 10,000 shows with over 1.6 billion downloads. Okay, so it's a really great hosting service. There's another hosting service that you can use called SoundCloud. Okay, SoundCloud is another one. The reason why I really love and dig Libsyn is because there's so much data that it actually gives you that I really wanted to know. I wanted to know who's actually listening to my podcast. I wanted to know how many downloads am I getting. I wanted to know where in the world are people listening to my podcast. And Libsyn actually gives you all that stats. So I really, really recommend Libsyn, but you can check out SoundCloud or you can check out others that are out there. For me, I use Libsyn. That's just who I started with, and that's who I have all my podcasts hosted with. So it's up to you. You have a choice. But here are two that I recommend, and if you find any others, then feel free to use them. But for me, these are the two that I've used, and I really love Libsyn. So now we talked about the hosting. Let's go into a quick demo, and I'm actually going to demo. What time is it? We have about another few more minutes. So let me go ahead and demo this. And oh, why did I get out of here? Oh my gosh, sorry about that. I don't want to do that. 1 second. Ah, man, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go into the demo, and let me go back here. And are you guys getting value? Awesome. Sweet, sweet. We have Miss Teresa Key in the house. Awesome, Tree. Love it. So let me go ahead and share with you a quick demo. I'm going to share with you how to actually go about. I'm going to share you a quick demo on Audacity, so you can know, basically how to go ahead and run your podcast. So let me go get a new screen in Audacity, and I will switch screens here. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my Audacity background. You guys should be able to see a gray background. Okay, I think you guys can see it. I see it on my screen. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna do a quick demo. I'm not gonna go 5 minutes or anything. I'm just gonna do a quick demo, and I'm gonna share with you how I actually go about. Okay, so let's hit it. Here's the record button. Here's the pause and all this good stuff. But all you really need is record. This is the intro to the podcast. That's the intro. You don't need it to really be that long. It's just an intro, okay? This is the meat and potatoes of the podcast. This is where you're going to be talking and giving value and sharing with your audience the message that you want to actually get out there to the world. That is actually the meat and potatoes of the podcast, okay? And then what I mentioned, you need an outro, right? So I like to put an outro. This is the outro of the podcast. This is where you have your commercials and your little jings that you can put out there and make the podcast really nice. Bam, that's it. So that is a podcast in general, okay? Obviously, I'm just talking and demonstrating right now. But so now what do? What was the steps? Now we're going to export it, right? So we're going to hit export, and we're going to name it PBM7 because the other ones are taken. So we're going to do PBM7. Podcast Mastery Blueprint 7, just for those of you that didn't know what that was. Now we're going to tag it. Okay, remember I talked about we have to tag our MP3 because when it goes out to all these directories, they don't know if it's not tagged correctly. They don't know what it is. It's just an audio. It's just an MP3. But if you tag it, now you can do whatever. I usually just load it, but you can do. I'll just do it real quick. PBM 7. Album title, workshop, track number 1, year 2015, genre business. Okay, and then you go ahead and hit OK. So now it's tagged. It's like now when it gets sent to all these directories, now they know what this podcast is actually about. So I'm gonna hit OK. It's going to render. Doesn't take that long since it's not a long file. And now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to, wait for it. We're gonna go to Libsyn now. Okay, so once we already tagged it, once it's downloaded, we already exported it, right? So now we're gonna go to Libsyn. Okay, this is Libsyn right here. All right, libsyn.com. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and log in. And we're going to go hit content, add new content. Okay. And right here, I'm sorry, add new episode, I should say. and we're going to go ahead and we're going to upload that file, okay? Because I'm going to demonstrate it real quick. And we're going to hit this upload right here. And we're going to go back to where I have my file on my desktop. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming. Podcast episodes. PBM 7. Okay. All right. So PBM 7. There it is. Did you see that uploading? It's uploading now. Okay. So now, and now you hit a title. This is where your title goes. All right. Subtitle. You also, what I like about Libsyn, okay, it's Libsyn Liberated Syndication. So it syndicates before everything. You set this up in the beginning. Obviously, I'm not going to show you how to do that right now for time's sakes, but you set up all your platforms, your Twitter, your Facebook fan page, YouTube channel, all the other directories that are out there. You can now set them up. And once you hit publish, this is a description. This is where your description goes. All right. And then you can, when it publishes, you can send out a tweet. So you can have it go, you can tweet something out. You can have a Facebook status go out once you hit publish. Okay. I'm not going to do that at this moment. And then the next part of the process is actually scheduling it, right? So you can actually publish it right now and it'll go out automatically. I'm not going to do that because I don't want that audio to go out, but you can also set it for a date that you want it to go and release. See right here, it's release immediately on publish, or you can set a new release date. Okay, so if you set a new release date, you can actually, I'm gonna do July, like we're talking about July, and I'm gonna do 2025. Okay, on the 4th. I'm gonna do it on Independence Day 2025. Okay, at 12 p.m. So if I wanted it to go out on July 4th of 2025 at 12 p.m., I set that up right there. Okay, and now I'm just gonna hit publish. Okay, now once I hit publish, it's not gonna go out. It's gonna be in queue for it to go out. Okay, so here is the direct downloads and all that good stuff. You don't need to know about that right now, but let me just go and make sure that it's scheduled for release. So we hit the scheduled for release button and voila, there it is, July 4th, 2015 at 12 p.m. Okay, obviously you guys can see that I've done this workshop a few times. I have all these still in here, right? But here's the work. This is the actual podcast that we just created right now. It's going to go out July 4th, 2025 at 12 p.m. And that's it. It's scheduled to go out. Okay, it's scheduled to go out. Now, the last step of the 8-step process is actually submitting it to iTunes. So what you're going to go is you're going to go to destinations and you're going to get this Libsyn Classic feed. Okay, it's an RSS feed. You're basically just going to hit Control C, or you can just hit copy. Okay, you're going to copy this RSS feed. And what you're going to do is you're going to now go to iTunes. Okay, you're going to go to iTunes, and let me switch my screen because you can't see my iTunes screen. Let me switch it. Looks like it's stuck. Can you guys see what I'm doing now? Can you guys see me? Hopefully you guys can see me. Let me know if you guys see my iTunes. You guys should be able to see iTunes. That's where I'm at now. Dr. Sally, if can you see my iTunes screen? Just let me know if you can see my iTunes screen. You guys should be able to see the iTunes section right now. Teresa, can you see my iTunes screen? Okay. Hopefully you guys can. I can see it on my side. So let me just continue because I don't want this to go over too long. So we're now in iTunes, okay? We're now in iTunes, and we are now going to, and this is where I talk about the new and noteworthy. Okay, you see this right here, the new and noteworthy section. Right here, this is all these podcasts that are right here. My man Mario Brown, he's actually going to be a host on the podcast. Or he's actually going to be, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring him on and interview him on the podcast. But all this right here, this section, as soon as anyone signs into iTunes, this is the first thing that they see. Okay, so if your podcast is right here, then you're gonna get, you have the chance of getting millions and millions of eyeballs to your podcast. Okay, and you have to be a new and noteworthy. And I'm gonna share with you a strategy to do that. So before I do that, I just want to share with you how to actually how to submit a podcast. So what you want to do is you want to hit the submit a podcast button. Okay, it's right here. Okay, and there's lot of different podcasts. Remember I talked about 16 different. There's business, comedy, education, games and hobbies, government, organizations, health, kids and family, music, news and politics, religion and spirituality, science and medicine, society and culture, sports and recreation, technology, TV and film, and so on and so forth. Right? So there's a lot of different categories. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna submit a podcast. Okay, awesome. So this is where we're going to go ahead, and now we're going to submit our RSS feed, right? We're going to hit Control V, which is just the paste button. And now you're going to hit continue, okay? And it's very simple. It doesn't take, usually it takes about, they say 24 to 72 hours. For me, I did it on a Friday when I launched my podcast, and it only took 16 hours. On Saturday, I already had the message that, hey, you're on iTunes, which was awesome. I'm not sure if that's a strategy or not. I can't really tell you. I just submitted when I submitted it. It was a Friday, and on Saturday, I was already on iTunes. So if you want to submit it on a Friday and try it, go ahead. If not, hey, submit it when you do it. And within 24 to 72 hours, you should be on iTunes. Okay, so that's as easy as it gets. That's the 8-step process in demo version. Okay, and hopefully I didn't go too long on that, so you guys got value. Did you guys get value from that? Was that something you guys didn't know that you can now do? Let me know. We feed off each other's energy. So so if that's easy, if that's something you guys can do, let me know. That's easy. I can do it. Okay, not hard at all. Right, so you're submitting your RSS feed. So now let's get back into the final ending of the presentation of my keynote, and if I can find it. Okay, 1 second. There it is, right here. Okay, so now that I showed you the demo of actually the 8-step process of actually going and submitting and creating, really creating, producing, and then launching your podcast, now the formula begins. Okay, there's actually a formula to your perfect launch plan. Okay, you want to maximize the new and noteworthy section that I just demonstrated, because there's tons and tons and tons and tons of people that are tapping into that on an everyday basis, on a monthly basis. So you want to make sure you do that. So here's the launch plan, okay? And I kind of showed Dr. Sally this on Saturday, but I want to share with you again because it's very, very important. A lot of people miss this, and they launch their podcast, and then they only have 50 downloads or 100 downloads, and then they get discouraged. So I don't want you to get discouraged. I want you to have a plan of action and a launch plan as well. So the launch plan consists of this. You want to launch with episode 000. And episode 000 is basically about the show. Okay, so if you think of a website or a blog page, there's always like a about section, right, of the author, whoever's running that website. Well, episode 000 is very similar to that. You're going to talk a little bit about yourself, just so the end user, the consumer, the person that is listening to the podcast can actually know who you are. Okay, so you're going to talk a little bit about yourself. You're not going to go, too crazy with it, but you want to talk about yourself. You want to talk about your show. Okay, what they can expect from you as a host. Okay, meaning, how many times are you planning on launching or releasing a podcast? What is your podcast going to be about? Is it going to be about cooking? Is it going to be about history? Is it going to be about how to release a book? Is it going to be about entrepreneurship and business or mindset? Or what is it going to be about? This is the perfect time to actually let your audience know what your show is about. And I recommend, no one's really told me this, but this is just like my innate feeling. I recommend not going more than 15 minutes on the 000 episode, because there's some episodes that are the very first episode is like an hour long, right? And for me, I don't know if my time is really worth investing an hour long to really know if that show is going to benefit me. And that might seem harsh or not, but everybody's time is valuable. So I recommend keeping it at 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. Okay, 20 minutes max, so people can actually get to know if they like you or they don't like you, if they know that if you're going to provide value or not provide value. So keep it short. The very first episode, keep it short. Don't go an hour long. Okay, you can go an hour long on different episodes, but the very first one, keep it short. Let them know what you're about. Let them know what you're going to talk about. Let them know how many times you're planning on releasing. Now, you also want to release with 3 shows. Okay, not 1 or not 10, but 3. And here's the reason why. You release with 1 show and you get 100 people you start marketing, you start telling your friends and family, you start telling your networks, hey, I just released a podcast. Come check it out. Come subscribe. You get 100 people there. Now, if you only have 1 show, they're gonna see that and they're gonna be like, well, I don't know if this is really worth my time. There's only 1 show here, and if they do subscribe, then you have 100 downloads. Now, if you actually release with 3 episodes, you get those same 100 people. Now your 100 episode downloads, your 100 downloads now become 300 downloads, right? And now, what that does is iTunes starts to see you and they start to say, hey, how's this podcast getting 300 downloads? Okay, so it's a little secret of the trade, but I was, this actually was worth, my investment of learning this. It was over $1,000 to learn this secret, and you guys got it here for just showing up, okay? And you don't have to pay $1,000 to learn the secret, but this is one of the secrets to the launching and getting onto New and Noteworthy. And you don't want to launch with 10 at first, because 10 might seem a little bit daunting on somebody, especially if they're very new and they don't know you, and they see 10 episodes. It's like, I don't know if it's really worth my time to episodes, right? So 3 is the magic formula on this. Now, the second part of this launch plan is you want to and you have to ask your listeners to subscribe, rate, and review. It's a must. There's no questions asked. It has to be in your vocabulary. And here's the reason why. Because you only have 8 weeks or 56 days to capitalize on the new and noteworthy. After those 8 weeks, you're no longer considered new. So you just drop down, and everybody drops down. It doesn't matter who you are on podcast. You're no longer new, so they're not going to consider you a new person on the platform. So you only have 56 days to capitalize on those millions of people that sign into iTunes on an everyday basis. Okay, so you have 56 days, and this is a launch plan for you to get on the new and noteworthy. Make sure you're asking for subscribes. Making sure you're asking your audience for rates and reviews, and that will naturally push you up to Google or to iTunes, and they will now put you on the new and noteworthy. Okay, the people that follow this formula get on the new and noteworthy. The people that don't wonder how come no one's really listening to their podcast. So make sure you write this down. If you're watching this on replay, make sure you go back and you listen to this again. Okay, because this is the formula to launch. Now let's talk about growing your audience real fast. Okay, using your social media. You can use Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, YouTube, and now after this past weekend, I just learned about. I not just learned about it. It's an old website into it. LinkedIn is a powerful website that you need to start tapping into. And my podcast will now be on LinkedIn. Okay, because it's a platform of professionals that really. And that's who I'm really attracting. So if you're attracting professionals, you got to be on LinkedIn. And I don't have it on the slide, but definitely going to be on LinkedIn. So you can use it social networks. You can also use your email list. If you have already built an email list, let them know that. Get them ready for it's like a coming soon type thing. Let them know. Start getting them interested in what you're actually putting out there. And then lastly, you can use text. Okay, I don't know if you can relate to this picture, but I actually have my phone right next to me. I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you probably have your phone right next to you as well, or within 5 feet of you in your purse or somewhere next to you. But if you get to your family or friends or your community or networks that you've built, hey, I just launched a podcast. Hey, now you have a way to grow your audience. Okay, and remember, always let them know to subscribe, rate, and review, because it's very, very important to get on the new and noteworthy. So those are a few ways to grow your audience. Another way to grow your audience is to leverage guest lists. Okay, every time you interview somebody, you have a new audience that you tap into, like Nicole Lappin, Deborah Peters, the lady that I talked about earlier, Leah Mullis, and Dean Lewis. Okay, there's a lot of people. All these, what they all have in common is they have lists. So if I interview them, and I let them know once the podcast goes out, then they're naturally going to want to share that with them because I'm actually highlighting them as the entrepreneur, as my guest, and their audience is going to get value from that. So that's another way, and this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but if you're able to tap into this and you're able to bring on different people that already have lists, and now you're able to tap into their community, and now you just opened up another door for people to listen to you. Okay, so leverage your guest list. Make sure you let them know that um, that their uh, that their podcast went out when it goes out. Okay, now let's talk about. I know everybody is still here because they want to know about how to monetize a podcast, right? So monetizing every visit that comes to your podcast, and you do this by a few ways. Number one, you can do it by affiliate marketing. Okay, affiliate marketing, for those of you that are familiar with it, is basically somebody has a product that they created, and you can JV with them or joint venture with them. Time you send traffic to their website and they buy a product or service or anything that they're selling, you make a percentage of that commission, right? You make a percentage of that sale. And as a podcaster, you now can put different little clips into your podcast that is directing people to that website. So you can do it, number one, by affiliate marketing. Number two, you can, since you're already an expert in something, okay, whatever that is, whatever that zone of genius is, you remember we have that expert section, right? Whatever you're an expert in, people are going to be attracted to that. So you can now offer your personal coaching to them. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a bit. But you can actually offer personal coaching to anyone that listens to your podcast. Number three is masterminds. You can create masterminds. And for me, we're going to be rolling out Warrior Nation Elite pretty soon. And basically, we're going to be having masterminds all over the world. Okay. I love traveling. I love exploring. Like I mentioned, I love adventure. So I thought, hey, why not create masterminds for my different, I mean, we're in 55 different countries. What if I can tap into my core values at the same time, tap into a mastermind of my audience that'll be willing to pay to go to these different places, these different, and mastermind with me. So you can actually create that. We're rolling that out pretty soon. It's still in production, but that's another way to monetize it. And then lastly, which I started to bring on, is sponsorships. You can get people, once you build the audience, okay, if you don't have no one that's listening to you, obviously this is the fourth step is going to be a little bit hard to do, but once you created an audience and you've been downloaded 50,000 times or 100,000 times or 500,000 times, whatever that number is, you can now go to specific people or specific companies and let them know, hey, I built an audience. I truly believe that what you offer will really be beneficial to my audience. And what are they going to do? They're always seeking to go out there and market their business. Why not market their business on your podcast? And you can charge a fee for that. So before you even release a podcast, you're already making money. All right. So those are the 4 steps. I don't want to get too detailed into them because we already went over a little bit of time, but number 1, affiliate marketing. Number 2, personal coaching. Number 3, you can create masterminds in your community. And you don't have to have my vision of going and traveling throughout different parts of the world. If you like that, hey, that's cool. But if you just want to do it in your local city, I live in Los Angeles, there's a ton of people here. There's a ton of people. As a matter of fact, we're already thinking about, having these meetups in different places and, bringing people because they want to know how to podcast. They want to know how to market. So you can create these masterminds in your local, go on a vacation and have those masterminds pay for your vacation, basically, right? So that's my vision. That's the way you can monetize a podcast. Now, if you follow the step-by-step blueprint that I just outlined inside of this powerful podcast mastery blueprint presentation, then your ability to create your ultimate lifestyle and buy back your time and your freedom with speed, ease, and pleasure will simply shock you, my friend. Now, because I only have 60 minutes on this hangout, I didn't really get the opportunity to go into the deep psychology and strategic process to generate endless amounts of leads to your podcast for maximum efficiency. So I've only had I could only share with you so much, and I try to actually rush it because last time I did this was like an hour and a half long. So I wanted to condense it and I want to keep it short, so you can get as much value as possible. But since I only have 60 minutes, I want to offer you a free one-on-one coaching session with me to help you get some clarity on the process that we just talked about. Okay, we're going to talk about, if you anything you want to talk about the process that I just outlined to you, we can talk about that in our free one-on-one coaching session. Okay, I know that I only have 60 minutes, so I wanted to offer this for free, and so we can now start building your podcast, okay, and really getting your brand out there to the world. So if you'd like to take me up on this free offer, all you have to do is simply go to theunstoppablejourney.com/coaching. Once again, theunstoppablejourney.com/coaching. And I'll actually go to it right now, but I just want to give you the link right now. So if you want to go there, it's an application. It'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. But I really want to get to know you before, so we can have we can maximize our time while we're on that call. Okay, so if I know a little bit about you, then I'll be able to know how I can help you, how I can coach you, and really get your podcast off the ground. So just go to just go to theunstoppablejourney.com/coaching. And for those of you that are still here to the end, and it looks like we still have a few people here, awesome. And for those of you that are still here, I want to actually, I promise that I have a special gift for you, right? I want to share with you a tool, a resource that I use on an everyday basis to capture my leads, okay? As a business, as a podcaster, or an author, right? You want to be able to have a way to capture your audience, your leads, so you can always go back to them with different offers, right? And be able to, provide value to them and just have that communication with them, right? So I want to introduce you to mymittspages.com. That's mymittspages.com. It's a free resource. You can go ahead and tap into it. It's free. There is a premium version, but you can use the free one. I mean, there's so much that you can do with that free one that if you choose to go for the premium, that's fine. But the free one is I mean, it's great. You can do so much. You can create beautiful looking capture pages like this one on your screen. You can customize it. You can change the background. You can change the font. You can change the color, and it's a great resource that that I've been fortunate to tap into, and I want to share that gift with you for staying with me till the end. And again, if you want to take me on this free offer for the free coaching, /coaching, okay? And I want to open it up for questions now. Do you guys have any questions for me? Let me know. Go ahead. Let me go ahead and back to the screen. Let me go ahead and type in. Go ahead, and this is the time now to go ahead and ask me any questions that you guys might have. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, I'll stay on for another few minutes and answer any questions that you guys might have. This is a perfect time to actually do that. And as a matter of fact, I think I can actually show this. Let me know if you. This is a new platform for me, so let me know if you guys can see this on your end. I just opened up the offer, which is basically the free one-on-one coaching session. Let me know if you guys see that on your side, because I just opened it up for you guys. So hopefully you can. So if you guys have any questions, let me know, and we'll stay for a few more minutes. And if you guys don't have any questions, then we'll jump off pretty soon. But I do have a small request while you guys are typing in your questions. My small request is this: simply go to iTunes and subscribe to the Unstoppable Journey podcast and leave an honest review. Okay, if you guys felt that you guys got a ton of value and you felt my sincerity and I brought it today, simply go to the Unstoppable Journey. Go to iTunes and subscribe to Unstoppable Journey podcast. Okay, it looks like this. That's my artwork, and that's what it looks like. And for those that want to take me up on the coaching offer, it's free. It's for 30 minutes. I'll break down your business. I'll help you get a plan of action to start getting onto and start, launching your podcast in the next 7 days or so. So all you have to do is go to theunstoppablejourney.com/coaching. And that's it. So let me see if there's any more questions. If there's not, then we will call it a wrap. Let me go back here. But it eliminated the chat box. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that would happen. Okay, so, okay. But did it open? Dr. Sally, did it open that little offer, free offer? Do you guys have any questions for me? Awesome. So it doesn't look like we have any questions, but if you have any questions, you can always find me on the social networks. I'm really loving Twitter right now, so you can always just find me on Twitter, Martin Ware Live. That's my Twitter profile, my Twitter handle. And if you want to take me up on that offer, then simply go to theunstoppablejourney.com/coaching, and we'll be in contact in the next 24 to 48 hours, and we'll go ahead and see what you do, and we'll go about that. So yeah, go ahead and click the chat box. What inspired my show? That's a great question, Teresa. What inspired my show was I've actually, for those of you that don't know me, and Teresa, you probably know this story. I've told it a million times, but I've actually survived death 5 times along my journey. And for me, that has been a blessing. I've seen it as a blessing, and I feel that I've I was born for a reason, and we're all born here for a reason. And I really want you guys to get this. We're all born here for a reason. God doesn't make mistakes. At least I don't believe that, right? If you know, just think about it. You when you when you're a sperm, right? And I think we could talk like this. I mean, we're all adults here. When you're a sperm, you beat out hundreds of thousands of sperms to get there, or I don't know how many, but you beat a lot of people out, and you're a winner. You're a champion. So I believe that along my journey, especially in business and in life, there's moments where there's ups and downs, and I had to come out with this, with this unstoppable journey, right? We're on a journey together, and if I can bring people on and and extract their gold nugget, extract their value from their low points in their life to their highest successes in life, and I can extract that from them and ask them questions, and then that can really be beneficial to my audience, and a lot of people are loving it. They're actually loving, and I also don't have to be the expert at everything, right? I can bring on experts and I can ask them questions, and they can provide the value to my audience. So naturally, I don't have to do it all, but I do also on my podcast have times where it's me on there and I'm just sharing value. So the unstoppable journey came from me just being unstoppable, and and really an event that happened 5 years ago in 2010 when I first started. I went to a live event from a buddy of mine, Jonathan Budd, and he had the Unstoppable Millionaire, and that it spawned from there. So I just I just want to give that light to others of being unstoppable along your journey. So any more questions? Did I answer your question, T? If they want to get it again. Okay. Awesome. You guys have any more questions? If not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We've already been at an hour and 22 minutes. So if you guys don't have any questions, if you do have any questions after this, you guys can always find me on Facebook or Twitter. You can always, go to theunstoppablejourney.com and just, hit the contact button and send me a message. I'm always here. I believe both of you have my cell phone number, so you guys can just send me a text. Dr. Sally and Teresa. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I left it all on the field. I left it all on the field, and hopefully you guys got a ton of value. And now I'm about to go running. So I love you guys. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to serve you guys. And if you have any questions, make sure you guys fill out that coaching form, and I will get back to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. My name is Martin Ware. I love you on the next show. Bye-bye.